Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. The video that I'm putting out tonight is it's threefold. Okay, we're gonna watch a video that was recorded 6 days ago by Representative. It shows Representative, I should say, Jim Joyce. Okay, in Congress, talking about a law that should be passed for sanctuary cities. That's number one. Number two, and not in that order, I'm also going to show a video of Klay Higgins. If anybody doesn't know Klay Higgins, look him up. I believe he was a sheriff in Louisiana for a while, and now he's a representative for Louisiana. And he has a very special message that he's in a packed room, mind you, that he's sending straight to the cartels in Mexico and wherever they may be, of how of what he thinks and what he's proposing be done, okay, against them, basically. And the third video, again, like I said, not in that order, which is surprising. It was put out by the New York Post earlier today, and it's showing how Chicago residents and, believe it or not, gang members born and raised in America that are born and raised in Chicago, how they're basically almost like teaming up, okay, against the illegal immigrants and the illegal immigrant gang members, okay, which I'm going to explain. I'm going to leave the Klay Higgins clip for last, okay. To me, it's very powerful. The second clip I'll play will be of what's going on in Chicago, and excuse me, it's, in my opinion, it's, I want to say it's a shift that's going on in society, which I'll explain as we watch the video together, okay? And it's something that, you know what, the Democrats, in my opinion, they basically have, and not only the Democrats, but the Democrats, Rhino Republicans, and the powers that be, they have what I consider a, I'm trying to phrase it the right way. They have sparked a 4th of July moment, okay, an Independence Day moment, and they don't even have the morals to understand that what they've done is basically something that it's turning around, okay, and basically biting them in the ass, for lack of a better term, okay. And it's only going to get more potent for the people on the right that are trying to get this country back, you know, at least back to some normalcy. And I don't think that it's right to say that they don't care, because we know they don't care, okay. So that's just a given. But it's like they probably see the writing on the wall more and more, and they're going to keep pushing back more and more. But in the end, they're going to lose. That's just the way it is, that they're going to lose. But with all that being said, I just want to thank all my new subscribers and all my subscribers here on YouTube and on Rumble. So don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. And also, again, I'll be leaving a link to Loza Alexander's Gifts and Go campaign, so you guys can help and donate to him, or go on his campaign page and leave thoughts, you know, thoughts and words of encouragement and prayer. Okay, that'd be great. So with all that being said, we're gonna get to the first clip, and I gotta point something out. It's a short clip; it's only about a minute and a half, but I want to point something out about the clip also. Okay, but without further ado, let's get into it. Check this out. This is by Jim Joyce. Okay. And he's saying that it's time to pass the No Bailout for Sanctuary Cities Act. Here we go.
Since taking office, President Biden and Vice President Harris have thrown open our doors to more than 10 million illegal immigrants more than 99.7% of whom are still in the United States today.
No kidding.
This mass illegal immigration poses a national security risk, with Border Patrol agents lacking the tools and the resources needed to stop, to apprehend, and to deport illegal immigrants. With cities now strained by illegal immigrants taking up shelter in school gyms and utilizing resources already stressed by record inflation, American communities.
And I'll bring it right back. I apologize. Not Jim Joyce, it's John Joyce. Okay, I'll start it again.
American communities are now forced to confront this crisis created by an open border policy. In New York City alone, free hotels, free health care, debit cards have attracted more than 100,000 migrants since the spring of 2022. And more than 65,000 of them remain in New York City today.
Okay, I'm going to cut it real quick. One of the first things that I noticed in the video was the statistics that he gave on New York about all the illegals. I did a video last year, okay, when I first started the channel. And last year, they said that they were at over 120,000, okay, as of last year. I'm not saying that he's wrong with his numbers, but if everybody knows, these leftists, they're playing with all the numbers of all the illegals that are coming in. That's number one. Number two, that 65,000 that has stayed, supposedly has stayed in New York, in New York State. This is where people need to understand. The ones that, the majority of them, where of the over 100,000 or whatever the case is, okay, if they stayed in New York, that's not the majority. Okay, the majority is the ones that supposedly are not in New York anymore, where people have to start questioning, where are they? We know they didn't send them back. Okay, we know that for a fact. And the reason why I say that is because of this. As of 2021, okay, New York City Police have already, blown the whistle that they have been dealing with that Venezuelan gang since 2021 in New York. Okay, but now that gang has metastasized, that now it's even gotten to Arizona and El Paso, Texas, and where was I forgot the other part of Texas. So now they're in California, Texas, New York, Pennsylvania, Chicago, okay, Colorado. So it makes you wonder, as they're coming in, okay, and most likely they're being sent to New York, all the rest of the illegals that he's saying, outside of the 65,000 that have stayed, who are they and where are they sending them? And if I had to guess, I would say that New York is probably like the starting point, and the majority of those gang members, they're sending them to other states, on top of the fact of the ones that are already coming through the southern border. And also, don't forget, they said that over 100,000 Venezuelan migrants were flown in. Okay, flown in from beyond the southern border. So how many exactly of these gang members are there? That's number one. And number two, why hasn't the Biden and Harris administration, as they like to call it, why haven't they cracked down, and I'll keep repeating it, on getting information from people coming from Venezuela? Okay, why haven't they pushed back at the president of Venezuela and say, you need to take these people back? If I had to guess, in all honesty, and I'm pretty sure that everybody's thinking the same, so it's no secret, there's probably some behind closed door deals that they've done with Venezuela. And if I had to guess, in all honesty, it has something to do with the oil. That's the only thing I could think of. But let's continue with this.
It is time for the House to pass the No Bailout for Sanctuary Cities Act, which would prohibit our tax dollars from being used by sanctuary cities to benefit these illegal immigrants. We need to return to the secure border policies that we had under President Donald J. Trump. It is time to secure our borders. And it is time to disincentivize the policies that have made each and every state a border state.
Now, that's all fine and good on paper, and what he's saying, that's perfect. But here's the thing, and there's no secret, because a lot of the Democrat mayors and governors have been saying it. They've been also cutting into the supposed COVID funding that has been sent to all these states. Okay, they've been utilizing that to help out the illegals. Not only that, they've been cutting back, okay, on a lot of services from these states, so they can allocate that money and put it towards catering to the illegal migrants that are coming in. So I totally agree with him that they should cut all kinds of funding to all these sanctuary cities, but it should be a whole. It should be not only so they don't give the illegal migrants any more taxpayer money, but also it should be done permanently. So it'll be, in my opinion, it'll be a stepping stone to start eliminating sanctuary cities throughout the country. Okay? Now I know that there could be some executive orders, written and stuff like that, which is great. But the thing with executive orders is that when the next administration comes in, they do away with those executive orders. Okay? They do away with those policies. So it's got to be something that, in my opinion, I think that sanctuary cities throughout America need to be abolished. Plain and simple. And I know that some people are going to kind of push back, because there are a couple of states that they deem themselves sanctuary states for like gun owners and stuff like that. But in my opinion, that should not be a thing, because the Second Amendment is our paperwork that gives us that sanctuary. But I understand why they're doing that, because they're trying to push back on all the gun grabbers, which is understandable. I get that. But when it comes to the illegal immigration, there should be no sanctuary cities for illegal migrants. Plain and simple. Okay, they should go through a process, and if they're deemed worthy enough to have sanctuary, they should have sanctuary in America. But it should not be en masse the way it is. Okay, it's gone over the top. Okay, and I'll stick by that. It needs to stop. As far as the gun grabbers trying to come, and take away the guns, I don't think that we should have sanctuary states or cities for that, for the simple fact that our Second Amendment protects that. Our God-given right protects that, first and foremost. The thing is that we need all these Democrats and rhinos to stop going after law-abiding citizens, okay, and their guns. They need to be told, go kick rocks, and that's it. You can't have the guns. Plain and simple. As far as the illegals coming here, especially the ones that are committing crimes, the criminals, that's the problem. The problem is not law-abiding citizens. Okay? That's just my take on it. Okay? But with this video being said, I'm going to try to find out some more information and see if there's if there was any more that went about it. But the one main thing I wanted to show about this video, and I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning right quick so you people can see, okay, is that I'm going to play it real quick the way he starts.
Since taking office.
Okay, he addresses the room, and he says speaker. But how many people are in this room? This looks all empty, and it's like everybody's going about their business. You got this one talking to that one, this one talking to that one, this one talking to that one, this one walking away turning his back. It's like this man's talking about passing a bill, okay, to not give any more bailouts to sanctuary cities, and yet the place is nearly empty, and 2 or 3 or 4 people have their backs turned. And this is the problem with Congress on both sides. That when it comes to something that's really important like this is why I say that I have a problem with the Republican Party. There should have been at least 20 or 30 or 40 Republicans here to hear what this man has to say. Okay? This is why I get upset with the Republican Party. Because when it comes to things like this, they don't back each other up. Okay? And I get very, very upset, especially with the rhino Republicans and these never Trumper Republicans, that like to go after Trump and go after people that support Trump, and it's like, here's a man that is making sense and wants to pass a bill that makes sense, so like that it will stop the major influx of illegals being hoarded into these sanctuary cities and states, and nobody's here to back them up. That's what I wanted to bring out about this. But with that being said, and without further ado, I should say, to the next video, let's go in and find out what the New York Post put out today about what's going on in Chicago. Here we go. Okay, now I think this is like mad cool. It's like XCOMs for Trump. You know, there are so many people coming out the woodwork supporting Trump, and the reason being, okay, and they're getting a lot of blowback from the left. Okay, they're being called all kinds of names, sellout, what is it, Uncle Tom, all kinds of stuff. You know, which is disgusting. It's stupid, but that goes to show you the ignorance. Okay. What the left doesn't realize, what they have done, thinking that they can get away with these kind of things, and this is why I believe that God works in mysterious ways. Okay, in the beginning of the video, I said that Chicago is having like an Independence Day moment, and it's all because of the Democrats. What I mean is, if you look at the movie Independence Day, everybody pushed their differences to the side because the world was being attacked by aliens. Okay. Now you have, in America, you have an administration, okay, that has opened up the floodgates into this country. And so many criminals, okay, terrorists and all, have come into this country that they probably, I believe what they wanted was some sort of civil war or some kind of civil unrest where they can say, well, we have all these people on our side, plus the illegals, now we can destroy the Republican Party, the conservatives. What they actually have done is open up the eyes of people, a lot of people who are on the other side of the tracks, that are like, wait a minute, is this what it feels like to be invaded? Is this what the neighborhoods felt when we were doing this? Think about it, people. So now you got gang members in Chicago, and it's also, there's talk about the same thing going on in Colorado. Okay, I don't know if it's true or not, but there's talk about it. There are gang members out there, and gang members in different states. They're actually saying, you know what? Wait a minute. Now we're going to have to hold this down in a different way. And don't be surprised. Okay, like I said, God works in mysterious ways. Don't be surprised if this incident that the Democrats have implemented, what they have instigated, is going to start changing more and more people from a criminal life to a straight life, and it just builds up the masses. I'm telling you, God works in mysterious ways. That's why I said that this is almost like an Independence Day moment. And the Democrats, what they probably thought was going to happen has totally backfired. Totally backfired. Okay? Is there going to be some pushback where people are going to say, no, we're not going to go along with this, we're just going to fight because of the drugs and the guns and the money and all that? Yeah, but for the most part, it's going to open up a lot of people's eyes that have been on the wrong side of the law, okay? The American-born criminal, where it's going to start changing them, and they're going to be like, you know what, wait a minute, this has gone now beyond us taking care of the streets. Now we really see what they're doing, okay? They were supposed to be for us, and now they're really taking away from us. Maybe it's time we start changing our ways. Just my thoughts, but let's continue.
With the illegalities and the criminal activity of these migrants or non-citizens, the city of Chicago is gonna go up in smoke, it's gonna go up in flame, and there's gonna be nothing that the National Guard or our government can do about it when the bloodshed hit the streets, blacks against migrants.
Zach Massey did time in state prison with Tyrone Muhammad, although he's only 27. He's a leader on the streets and said he's disgusted by the money going to Venezuelan migrants at the expense, he says, of the African-American community.
I finally actually talked to him on the translator app, and he told me all the things that he got going on, how they help him get a car, apartment, clothes, link.
All right, you heard what he said? He said how they helped them get a car. I also spoke about this in some of my other videos, okay, that when I was living in Arkansas, I mean, there was so many illegals with brand new trucks. I mean, big ass Ford, Chevy, you name it, they had it. GMCs, I mean, top of the line stuff. And it's like, these guys can't even speak a lick of English. It's like, how in the world did you come here from a third world country broke, and you all of a sudden have a $50, $60, $70, $80,000 truck, man? Never mind, okay, all the labor equipment that you also had tied to the back of that truck on trailers. And it turns out that the government has a deal with car lots, okay, all of them, GMC, Ford, Chevy, all of them, where they basically are taking car vouchers and they're giving these people whatever damn car they want, whatever vehicle they want, and the government is paying for that. We're paying for that, okay? I don't even, listen, and I'm not trying to have a boohoo moment. If I had an extra $2,000 or $3,000 in my hand just dedicated to my truck, I'd be okay. Okay, I'm talking brand new brakes, tires. I got a blown head gasket. I've been, you know, basically just coddling, for lack of a better term, you know. But I try to keep my truck going. You think the government's gonna go and give me just $2 or $3 grand just so I can get my truck fixed, so I can keep doing what I gotta do in society to be a productive citizen? Hell no. But then they go and they just give it to all these illegals just to coddle them, okay, to give them whatever, and they expect the American people not to say anything, and that also includes gang members, lest they forget. But let's continue.
So it's just like, I just be looking at it like, they ain't got no social security number, where they come from. He probably not even here legally.
They get right here, they get quick housing, quick funding, food, and get cars with no license. They can't even read English and stuff like that. So they get all these perks when they get here, and we still here starting. So what we gonna do about it? Are y'all gonna listen to our cries?
Corey Rogers was a Blackstone gang member for years. He drove us around the South Side and showed us areas where he said Trendo, Awagwa, and other criminal gangs are setting up shop, and what he called showing the flag, which means brandishing their weapons in front of like a housing project.
The migrants that are coming, they're taking over every block right now in this area. Right now, you don't see them because they come out at night. They said they took this courtway over probably by last week. They said it was 100 Venezuelans standing out in the front right here.
Terry, is it an abandoned building? How do they just take it over?
They just, when you take over something, you just stand outside, and that's called showing the flag.
What kind of guns do they have?
Semi-automatics, anything you name, you're gonna see it on the street.
Unbelievable.
These boys got so many big guns that if they're 150 pounds, the gun is bigger than them. I swear.
But they know how to handle it, right? They know it. Tell me about the fact that they're criminals, right? This is a criminal element. These aren't just a bunch of Venezuelans that walked over the border and used to be gardeners back home, right?
Right. They come from the gangland. They come from rougher gangs than us.
One gang member who only gave his name as David on a particularly dangerous drug dealing corner on the south side did not hold back when he talked about the influx of criminal gangs from other countries into Chicago.
The real issue is that America has allowed gangs to enter our country. Gangs that they would consider ex-terrorist groups that are formed here. We're terrorist groups if we're in a gang. They let terrorists in our country.
The Reverend Corey Brooks also said to me he's disgusted with Democratic policies and said that Black Lives Matter, for example, has never reached out to help him or anyone else trying to improve conditions on the South Side.
Black Lives Matter it's a disgusting group because what they've done, they have fed off the blood of innocent black people and they have lined their pockets. I mean, big time. That flag, in my opinion, never mind that the group is basically, I'm not going to say abolished, but it's so broken up because so much the ugliness has been shown that, in all honesty, people need to stop flying that flag, okay, and fly the American flag, okay, because the people that founded Black Lives Matter, it was never for the black community, okay. They took in tens of millions of dollars worldwide, okay, and all they did was incorporate that money mainly, number one, into the gay community, the transgender community, okay, opening up all kinds of gay organizations and stuff like that, okay. Never once went to the black communities to say, listen, let's take this money and let's, give it to the people who have lost, a family member or something like that at the hands, like they say, to police, okay. And I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers, but for as much as it hurts, and I know it does, but the statistics that they were pushing out, okay, was that cops actually kill white people more than they kill black people. But I'm not going to get into that. Like I said, this is not about that. I'm not trying to insult anybody. It's just that an organization like this can go on and on and on, blatantly in everybody's face, okay? I mean, committing all kinds of money laundering crimes, which they still are. But yet, like the guy said, as far as the black gangs, they're deemed a terrorist group, okay? And my answer to that is, well, you still have a chance to change, but yet then they go and let other gangs into this country. They won't deem them a terrorist group because if they did, they definitely would have to go hunt them down and lock them up and throw away the key the way they do what a lot of the American made gangs. So it's like, what's your point here? And we know what the point is. They're basically trying to change the demographics, okay, of America. But like I said, God works in mysterious ways, okay? The way I see it, I think that more American gang members are going to start taking heed to this and say, you know what, wait a minute. Maybe it's time to put down the weed, put down the guns, put down the problems we have with Americans. Let's start joining forces and cleaning this shit up, okay? Because they have the heart to want to hold down their neighborhoods. But hopefully this is a catalyst that they'll be like, okay, you know what? Now we truly see the crime and the ugliness. Now it's time to stop, really stand strong, and start cleaning it up. But let's continue.
Chicago is a blue city. Illinois is a blue state. There's no doubt about it that the majority of our neighborhood, they're going to continue to vote Democrat until they wake up. The good news is that there are a lot of people who are responding and waking up and saying, listen, we're not going to take this, we're not going to stand for this, we're going to vote differently. And they're now accepting some of the values that I hold dear and some of the values that the conservative Republican Party holds so dear. And so for a lot of people, it's not about the person, it's about the policies that we're fed up with. And as a result, I think this is going to be the largest amount of people who have voted for a Republican president in Chicago that we've seen.
I also spoke to one Venezuelan man who was so scared of being identified that he put a hoodie on and refused to face the camera. He told me in Spanish that he had to flee the building where he was being housed because a Venezuelan criminal gang took it over. He said if they knew he was talking, they'd end his family's life back in Venezuela with one bullet. You know, what struck me the most about our week in Chicago was how intelligent and self-aware these gang members and ex-gang members are about their community. You understand when you talk to them that joining a gang and making big money selling drugs is often too tempting to resist when faced with the lack of other real opportunities to make money. And for a place known mostly in news stories for being bloody and violent at night, the area is like a village during the daytime. Everyone knows each other, and believe it or not, there's a friendly vibe. But we spoke to a lot of people, and their patience is being stretched thin. I would not be surprised to see the gangs here taking action once the Venezuelans try to get a real foothold here.
Well, let's all pray to God not. Okay? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to paint all these gang members as good people, because we all know, let's be honest, there are a lot of vicious people out there. Okay, a lot of vicious gang members out there. So for some of them, I mean, is there hope? Yes. Will they change their ways? No. That's just the bottom line. So we got to get that out the way. But, you know, I always wondered, and to this day I still do, you have all these famous artists in Hollywood, okay? Whether you're a sports player, you're in the music industry, whatever the case is. A lot of them talk about this whole gang life, and they're out there living it up, making tens of millions of dollars, billions of dollars, whatever the case is, okay? And I always wondered, like a person like Eminem, he went after Trump, okay, after he became president, because before he was president, I mean, there's pictures with him and Donald Trump shaking hands and smiling and laughing, but obviously, you know, he's a two-face. So he talks so much about that Trump is going to destroy the country, but yet the guy is being flown into Dubai, okay, by the Prince of Dubai, to go see a UFC fight or whatever the case is. Does he think about the neighborhood that he said he grew up in that was in shambles back in Detroit? I don't think so. Okay? Because he could do a hell of a lot more than going to Dubai and getting a damn gold Rolex as a gift. Okay? I mean, to make it seem as if, oh, Trump is going to do worse for Detroit. Why didn't you just say, you know what? My bones are back home in Detroit. I don't need anybody to spend that much money on me. I don't need to be spending that money myself when I can invest this money in the neighborhoods. But they won't. And the same thing goes with a lot of these gangs. They make millions of dollars in drugs and guns and prostitution and all kinds of shit like that, which, okay, fine, I get it. That's your life. But now, it's like, okay, they see what's going on. It's not like you're going to hear straight up they're cutting into our turf when it comes to how they make their money. Obviously, they're not going to come out and say that. But what you're seeing is them saying, well, they're taking all this money, and instead of investing it into the black communities, they're giving it to the illegals. So hopefully, this will be something that wakes them up and say, you see, all this time you guys were out there trying to make money just to line your pockets, okay, just to be gangster, whatever the case is. Now you know what the families, okay, your family members and friends and people in the neighborhood felt when you guys were doing it. This is why I said God works in mysterious ways, okay? And I pray to God it doesn't get to that point that, you know, it's going to be, you know, like they were saying, like one of the guys said, it's going to be, you know, bloody in the streets. You're not going to be able to get anybody to cool it down. Okay, and I think that that's what the Democrats want. The Democrats want a massive uprising where there's going to be so much carnage in the streets where where they're going to say, we got no choice, we got to shut down the country, and we're going to send in all the freaking jackboots, okay, and start stripping and, you know, basically go into martial law. Okay? But I said it once and I'll say it again, I'll keep saying it. Cooler heads will prevail. Okay, and I'm glad that New York Post went out there, all right, to do this interview. But if there's anybody out there from Chicago, you know, I don't know who really watches my channel. If there's any gang members out there, my advice, being born and raised in the streets, okay, basically in New York, in the Bronx, it's like, don't fall for what the Democrats want. Okay? Fight your battles at the ballot box, so like that when Trump comes in, he can send in the jackboots and start cleaning up the streets. And then you guys on your side, okay, can start cleaning it up too and giving back to the communities, because you know what? They need you. You all have mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters and cousins and people that you love. Okay? And I understand why a lot of yous do it. Trust me. I'm not naive. Okay? I mean, I didn't get this brutally handsome, okay, by going to freaking preparatory school. Okay? I don't even know what a preparatory school looks like. I know what it is to be out there in the streets. But what I'm saying is, this has all the earmarks of the Democrats wanting an uprising. Okay? Because they'll have no shortage. If they need it, trust me, they will build prisons. They'll pull prisons out their ass like there's no tomorrow. Okay? So be very careful of you know, of how you guys handle it. That's all I'm saying. Okay? Cooler heads will prevail, and God works in mysterious ways. But with all that being said, and I'm not advocating violence, obviously, at all. But with all that being said, now we're going to get to Klay Higgins, okay, in front of a packed room in Congress. And you have to hear what he says and the warning that he gives the cartels. Here we go.
Within 2 weeks.
Well, sorry, I'm going to rewind this. I'm going to go to the beginning. And this is put out on September 18th. And it says, Klay Higgins delivers stark warning to cartels under a second Trump term. Check this out.
Back. The gentleman yields. My. So here we are. A hearing to reflect upon 3.5 years of incredible injury that's been brought upon our country because of southern border policies enacted by the Biden administration White House. We had this thing under control, man.
Yep.
2017, 18, 19, we learned a lot of lessons, but I'm gonna tell you, by the time we were deep into 2019, I was here, I was on this committee. Before COVID, don't talk about COVID in 2020, we'll set that year aside. In 2019, we had this thing under control, America.
Yep.
Sheriff.
Absolutely.
It's the policies of the Biden and Harris administration that have flipped this thing.
They've destroyed it.
With no additional laws. Let me say I'm going to address the cartels who are watching. Pay attention. I'm talking to you now. With no additional laws, within 2 weeks of the inauguration in 2025, on January 20, 2025, if President Trump is inaugurated, within 2 weeks, you're shut down.
There you go.
You'll bring no drugs into our country. You'll traffic no human beings into our country. You're going to have to revisit your business model. Take some of those billions of dollars you've sucked out of our country, like the lifeblood of our people, and go build a few more mansions on the beach, because you will not be running human beings and drugs into our country within 2 weeks of President Trump's inauguration next year.
Let them know.
If things don't go that way, we'll see.
Yep.
If a different president is inaugurated, it's very likely you'll be able to continue your business model. And won't that be tragic for my country? But you'll still have the issues of me and men like me.
There you go.
I'll be living on your 1 yard line.
You got that right.
But if things go right, you're done. This will be your last Christmas sucking the life out of our country, dumping illegals across our border that you control, and flooding our nation with the poisons that are killing our children to the rate of 100,000 a year. Chief Heike, man, it's good to see you. You know, I made it a point in the years I've been on this committee to get to the border. I learned very quickly that I'd have my most productive Codels on my own. And one afternoon a few years ago, I knocked on your gate, just a congressman with a backpack. And you were kind enough to let me in at the San Diego sector. And you spent several hours with me. It was one of the most informative days I'd ever had at the border, of many. So can you, sir, would you share with America, talk about the impact of the policies that were enacted beginning in January of 2021 on the men and women of Border Patrol that were under your command, in your own words? And I will yield sufficient time to you, sir. Just please.
All right, before he continues with this, if anybody remembers, Kamala Harris lied on the debate stage, talking about how the Border Patrol, okay, supports, all of the Border Patrol supports her and Biden, okay, which we all know it's just a crock. That much we know, but check out what this man has to say.
Please talk about the impact of the policies that you felt, that your men and women felt, boots on the ground, on the border.
Ultimately, and as I mentioned earlier, with the detention and then repatriating people back to their nations, caused a continual release of illegal aliens into our country. As more and more people were released, more and more people came. Basically turned the Border Patrol agents into transport and care and feeding. That's all the agents have had time to do, and they're well aware of what they miss. The zones that have been empty, the vast areas across the border that don't have a presence because they are sitting in detention processing, or they are taking care of feeding people in processing.
Unreal.
That constant awareness of what they're not able to do. They're not able to complete their national security mission. That mission is why they signed on to the job. That mission is what they do, and they're not allowed to get out into the field and do that. And that is what is destroying the morale across the Border Patrol.
All right, you heard it. This man has been a whistleblower for the past couple of weeks. There's a lot more information this man is putting out in front of Congress. Okay, so basically what the Biden administration did was get rid of all of Donald Trump's policies and basically make the Border Patrol agents babysitters, caretakers, which is not what their job is. Their job is to secure the border and make sure that there are no threats, no foreign threats coming into this country. But what does Biden and Harris do? They let them in. People have gotten raped and murdered, okay, from the ones just walking over. That wasn't good enough. They had to go and start putting their asses on planes and flying them in from other countries in the middle of the night. Okay? And not just a couple of thousand. We're talking tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. Literally, they have let into this country because it's in the millions. Okay? But that snake of a woman has to go on the debate stage and say, no, everything's fine here. Don't believe your lying eyes or ears. The ones that are speaking out, they're just disgruntled. But we have everybody backing us up. Really? You do? Do you forget that Border Patrol agents, after they take off the uniform, they are regular American civilians? They go back home to families. They are on the front line not to bring anybody in to harm their families and friends, their neighbors. Okay? No. They put that uniform on. They stand at the border to protect the country from being harmed. Okay? By criminals coming in. Let's finish this off.
Chief, thank you for being here today. I thank all the panelists. Miss Moran, God bless you, ma'am. We're sorry for your pain. We feel it with you. Sheriff, thank you for your service. Gentlemen, my time has expired. My love for my country has not.
There you go.
I recognize the gentleman from California, our colleague, Mr. Garcia, for 5 minutes for questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank all of our witnesses for being here.
Okay, and that's it. It's horrible. It's totally, totally horrible what they're doing. Okay, but like I said, in their eyes, no, we're doing the right thing in the name of democracy. Okay, we're doing the right thing in the name of humanity. We're doing the right thing because everybody that's against it are racist. Okay, and last I checked, not one person who was a victim at the hands of a criminal, never mind the American-born criminal. I need people to just quit that bullshit every time they want to send me a message. Well, what about the criminals born and raised here? Man, go kick fucking rocks. I am so sick and tired of that. Because you know for a fact that everybody in this country is also sick and tired of the criminals that are born and raised in this country. But how do we deal with them? And now we got to start dealing with another influx of them coming in. Okay? Do you think these criminals go and start asking people what part of the political aisle do you stand? No. The same way they treat their own back home in their own countries with the chaos and the carnage, they're doing it here even more, because the difference is that in their country, when they get caught, they don't let them out of prison. They send them straight to prison. In this country, all the blue states, all the Democrats, all these rhino Republicans give them a free pass to commit crime and then let them go out into the street with no cash bail. Okay? And only now, as of recent, okay, that it was even brought up to Kamala, to her face. Okay? Why the change? Why the turnaround? You've had 3.5 years to do this. Matter of fact, you could have stopped it from the beginning. But now you want to start deporting them? Now you're going to start arresting them and putting them in jail? Now you're going to start giving them court appearances? Yeah, who the hell do you think you're fooling? Okay? And it still hasn't stopped them, okay, from doing what they want. Because it's still all over the news of crimes still being committed. But with the election just a month and a half away, whatever the case is, okay, they're still trying to put lipstick on this pig, making it seem as if, you know what, everybody's crazy. This is not what's going on. I'm sorry, but I came out and said it, okay? In this day and age of technology, everybody is a journalist. As long as everybody has a cell phone with a working camera on it, everybody is a journalist. Forget about all the CCTV cameras that the government is putting up, which was supposed to be put up to protect people from the homegrown criminals. And you want people to believe that. But now when everybody else pulls out their cell phone and they start recording, it's like, no, that's just people pandering. Those are Trump supporters. We didn't watch the whole videotape. I mean, all kinds of damn excuses, okay, for their mess. And again, all that carnage, all that blood, that's all on their hands. That is all on their hands. They are not. And none of you that support them, none of you social media influencers that are putting out content and whatever the case is, trying to support what they're doing, all that blood is on your hands. All of it. Okay? Because you keep saying that you're on the right side of history. Depending on what history it is that you're trying to make, you might be on the right side. If you're saying you're on the right side of history, that let all this carnage happen, yeah, you're damn skippy on that. You're right on that, trust me. But you're not on the right side of history trying to protect this country or protect people. Okay, for that matter. It doesn't matter if they're from here or they're not. So don't kid yourselves. Okay? None of yous are self-righteous. None of yous are so damn pious. Not one of yous. Okay? Not one. But anyway, that's what I got for you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. And also, again, I'm leaving a link to Loza Alexander's Gifts and Go campaign. So if you guys can help him, please, help him out or leave him words of encouragement, some prayers. It's always appreciated. Also, if you guys haven't noticed, or if you have, I've been leaving end scenes on my videos as of late. leaving up a video. You guys can click on that and watch it if you haven't watched it. That helps out with the algorithm, okay? And I've been noticing with my last 4 or 5 videos doing that, those videos have been going up, getting more views, which is great. But I know this is a process. It takes time. All I need is about, I don't know, another million patrons on my channel. We'll be good. Then I could do this full time. But we'll see. A man could dream, you know. Last I checked, this is America. So I just need I need more and more patrons, hardcore patrons, to join this channel, and also, you know, spread this awareness around, okay? And also to the young people, because this is affecting a lot of young people also, okay? Especially girls, man. Especially, you know, our young daughters and sisters and nieces, you know what I'm saying? Cousins, our homegirls. Same thing goes with the boys. It's affecting a lot of young people, okay? And any of you people on the left are okay with that, you're nothing but freaking, you're demonic, okay? If you could turn a blind eye to that. So remember, stay vigilant, keep praying for each other, keep praying for the women and the children, keep praying for this country, pray for your enemies, pray for Donald Trump, and don't forget to get out there and vote. Take people with you. Take 5, 10, 20 people with you. Get them registered to vote. Peace.